All right. Hello, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. We are continuing our journey of leveling up our main Barb on single player in Diablo 2. And we are currently in Act 4 Nightmare. I mean, look at this awesome background when you save and exit in Act 4. In the HD version, which all of this has to be HD obviously, it is looking fantastic. Super cool. But before we go get into it, and before we start Act 4, we need to talk about a few things. Because I kind of glazed over them after leveling up in Act 5 in normal on Eldritch, which we got to 44. You should be around 40, maybe up to 42. After we finished, we went straight into Nightmare, and I did upgrades off stream, right? I hired a Act 5 mercenary, I gave him a Lawbringer, I gave him a Crescent Moon, all that good stuff. Now, you guys might not be able to have those, right? Because those are hand-me-downs from my Holy Grailer. But if you guys do not have hand-me-downs, we have to discuss what you guys can do in Act 1, 2, and 3 of Nightmare when it comes to helping out specifically with the mercenaries. So let's jump in. We're going to go into Nightmare, and we're going to backtrack just a little bit. Let's go into old settings. All right. So what do I mean? Well, I mean that, you will not be able to find these until you get to, maybe the Forge in Act 4 in Nightmare. Like a Lem will not drop from the Countess, neither will an this should be able to drop from Andy in Act 1. This may be from Andy, but definitely from Mephisto. So again, we passed Mephisto last stream. But if you guys don't have this and you don't want to go with the Barb, which you don't have to go with the Barb mercenary. I have IP over here, IP. But you guys don't have to do that. Obviously, the preferred mercenary that everybody loves is the Act 2 mercenary. So let's go to Act 2 and let's talk about that. Okay. So if you have not changed your mercenary from normal to a barbarian like I did, which you don't have to, completely up to you. I decided to try him out. I wasn't even, definitely sold on him, but I like him. Now, would I ever go back to an Act 2 mercenary? Of course, because they have a lot of utility when it comes to itemization. Act 1 and Act 3 mercenaries are different. Act 1, I would say, is the least useful, but they do have things like slow missiles or inner sight. Actually, let's go check what they have, just so that I'm not talking out of the blue, and we'll go into HD graphics because we need to read what they're all about. Let's take a look. So, in Nightmare, Act 1 has two options. Let's see. We have the Freezing Arrow Mercenary, which is, crowd control because it freezes. It has Cold Arrow, also slows down, so that's crowd control. And Inner Sight, which subtracts the enemy defense, as you can see. Let's see. Illuminates nearby enemies, making them easier to hit for you and your party. So that's good for a barbarian. For us, that would be good. What about the fire rogue? Exploding arrow, no crowd control, but I'm guessing more damage. Yeah, a little bit more damage. Fire arrow, also no crowd control, but I'm guessing a little bit more damage. Sure, okay. And Inner Sight again. Now, out of these two, obviously, if you are not iteming, so if you are not, let's look at our skills here. If you are not using find item, which means that you have to, find them from a corpse, then definitely I would go for crowd control, meaning a cold mercenary. Now, if you do want to use find item, which, you know, I suggest, if you're magic finding on this guy, sure, do it. Then you probably don't want cold damage because it will shatter corpses, right? But out of Act 1, I think it is the weakest out of the mercenaries. But if you happen to find, like, let's say a 4 open socket bow, you could put an insight in it and put it on an Act 1 mercenary as well and get, meditation, right? Mana regen. And I'm assuming, for example, you didn't find a 4 open socket polearm, right? So you could do that, sure. All right, let's go to Act 3. So Act 3, we were using Khalil in normal, actually, and nothing has changed when it comes to these mercenaries in Nightmare. Also in the rogues in Act 1 have not changed from normal either. So these guys are the same as well. They have the cold version is Ice Blast, Chilling Armor, and Glacial Spike. Again, crowd control. Lightning has Static Field, which that's what we were using towards the end, which was great. So I would recommend the Lightning for the static. This is huge, as long as you could position him nicely. And finally, the Fire gives Enchant, which is also good for you if you are lacking attack rating. So that is something to consider. If you are lacking attack rating, you can go for an Act 3 Fire Mercenary, which will give you, at our level right now, in the 50s, close to 60, this guy would give you 146% bonus to attack rating, which isn't nothing, and some fire damage. But again, no crowd control, right? Same thing with the lightning. No crowd control, but the static. So this one, I would say, is definitely better than the Act 1. Now, Act 2 in Nightmare, specifically in Nightmare, the auras that Act 2 Mercenaries provide have changed compared to normal. Normal, we had what? Blessed Aim, which would be good for attack rating as well. Defiance, which is good for defense, but for all intents and purposes, I wouldn't go necessarily for Defiance unless if you are standing still, because remember, running does drop your defense down to 0, so I mean that's kind of pointless while we're running. And then Prayer, which slowly regens our life from normal. Now in Nightmare, so this is a big deal for us. If I didn't deck out my Act 5 Barbarian Mercenary, I would definitely be going to Act 2 in Nightmare when I got there, and hired a Might or a Holy Freeze Mercenary. So the auras here have changed from Blessed Aim, Defiance, and Prayer to Might, which gives us damage, straight up just normal physical damage bonus. And it also gives it to him. Then Holy Freeze is the second one, which is, again, huge for crowd control because it slows down the enemies. It's not like cold damage where it has a different type of slow. This is an even different type of slow where even, it's kind of like a slows target on a weapon kind of deal. Meaning if you're affected by the aura, you are definitely always going to be slowed. Kind of like how Duriel slows us. Even if we have Cannot Be Frozen, he still slows us, right? If I'm not mistaken. But again, the cold one might eventually shatter corpses. So if you are finding item, if you're using that skill, you do have to consider that your mercenary is going to have cold damage and everything's going to be chilled. So, and if you have cold damage somewhere, then that's not good. And then the last aura that Nightmare introduces for Act 2 Mercenaries is Thorns, which it's a little too late. I feel like, Thorns does do what it says, but the damage returned is based off of the damage that, the mobs do to you, which is way less compared to their health pool. You know what I mean? So if this was in normal, this would be great. But I think in Nightmare, this a little bit falls off. Now, maybe it's still good if you have like if you're doing a minion build, this is something to consider. But just 1v1, meaning us, me as a Barb with nobody else, to reflect damage, it's a little bit lackluster in my opinion. Now, you might have a different opinion. That's fine. And it is fun. It's fun to kind of do like a different build, a Thorns build. But I mean, look at this might, right? Let's think about this. Level 10 might, and it's gonna give it to you 130% increased damage. That's huge. Technically, my Ip over here is not giving me any damage. The only, I guess, damage he's giving me is via Decrepify when it procs, which gives, pretty much not double, but like 50% increased damage to a mob. So think about it, 50% increased damage versus 130% increased damage. Now this does, I believe, additively stack with other enhanced damage that we get. I might be wrong on that, but I highly doubt that it multiplicatively stacks, which makes it, less strong than initially thought to the average human brain, because multiplicatively it would be crazy, that's why I'm assuming it's not multiplicatively, because that would just be insane. I think that everybody would just always do this. So I'm pretty sure it's additive. But I mean, I might be wrong on that. I don't know. Huh. Well, anyways, it is a chunk of damage. Like a hefty chunk, okay? It's not nothing. And then Holy Freeze, as you can see... Blessed Aim is still here. By the way, you could still hire the old mercs with their old auras. As you can see, there's a Defiance one and a Blessed Aim one. We don't see a Prayer one, but, they're random. So you could always save and exit the game, come back, and this list will refresh. But the Holy Freeze, as you can see, level 10 as well. It adds cold damage to the Mercenary's attack, and it slows enemies by 48%. That is huge as well. So, for example, me, I'm not magic finding with this character, right? I'm just having fun and blasting and killing things, right? I don't want to, stop by and item find from corpses. So I would probably choose this. I mean, think about how awesome it is when everyone is slowed trying to attack you. And then, on top of that, imagine if I was wielding a Lawbringer and I decrepified enemies that were already slowed from my Act 2 Mercenary. Because again, my Act 2 Mercenary cannot wield a Lawbringer. But I would be able to. And I think so, right? Because Lawbringer is only in swords. Let's double check that. Lawbringer, yeah, swords, hammers, and scepters. So, he would have to not have Lawbringer. But imagine Decrepify plus the slow from Holy Freeze. I mean, that would be, beautiful. I mean, I think the mobs would just be at a halt. Like, they wouldn't even be able to attack much. Or at all. So, yeah. If you did not like the Act 3 Static Field Lightning Mercenary for Static Field, you just it didn't tickle your fancy, and you didn't have any hand-me-downs to buff up an Act 5 Mercenary, giving him Static Field from Crescent Moon, or, for example, a Lawbringer for Decrepify. Again, you could still do different weapons if you want for him, but if that doesn't tickle your fancy, then definitely go get yourself an Act 2 Nightmare Mercenary, and I would either go with a Might, which is just straight up flat damage for you and for him, or Holy Freeze for super survivability on our end. I mean, this is just huge. Possibly if you're very, very low on attack rating, you could either stick with the Blessed Aim Mercenary that you've had from normal, or you could just hire another one here. And it does give you 270% bonus, attack rating. I mean, which is pretty huge as well. So that's also nothing to, shy away from if that's what you guys end up needing. For Act 3 Mercenary, let's go back a little bit to talk about gear. Act 1 mercenaries obviously have... Act 3 mercenaries have... Act 1 mercenaries have, you know, random bow options if you ended up dropping like a unique bow or something. But when it comes to rune words, I think the best option would be something like an insight. A 4 open socket bow can get you an insight, which will pretty much solve your mana problems forever. You won't even need a mana potion slot, because what are you going to be doing? Unless if you're doing whirlwind or something. But like a frenzy, I mean, it should be nothing. So you don't even need, like, you know, double swing or whatnot. And armors are just typically, you know, like the helm and the armor is just the same as for any mercenary. You could make a hustle again, but you won't be able to afford it. You could get something like this for Cannot Be Frozen. You could use a hawk mail, which is a normal scale unique scale mail that has Cannot Be Frozen. You could use Gray Form, which is a unique, I believe, literally, what is the normal version of this? Not leather armor. Oh gosh, I forget. But that has lifesteal on it. So you need lifesteal on your mercenary somehow. And that applies to every mercenary besides the Act 3. Because the Act 3 mercenary doesn't swing their sword. His sword, unless he's surrounded and he randomly just swings it. But, you know, so the Act 3 mercenary, you pretty much have to deck him out in as much faster cast rate and plus the skills as possible. So things like Spirit, Sword, or some kind of like Wall of the Eyeless, or what is it called? Lidless Wall or Wall of the Eyeless for faster cast rate shield. If not, just give him anything for resistances, like a Rhyme is also good, you know, why not? Or an Ancient's Pledge. An armor that has FCR, so stealth is your standard. And if you can possibly gamble a caster circlet. Circlets and coronets and all that stuff can have up to either a 10 faster cast rate or a 20 faster cast rate, and I believe you could do it at this level to gamble one. Or find one naturally, but I highly doubt that. That's for the Act 3. Act 1, we still didn't finish. Armors. Anything with attack speed, so a Twitch Throw. This also applies to the Act 2 and the Act 5. So a Twitch Throw or Hustle, but again, that would come later. Or anything with Cannot Be Frozen. That is also very important. So anything with Cannot Be Frozen should go on your Act 1, Act 2, and Act 5 mercenary. So it could be a Helm, it could be a Hearth, if I'm not mistaken. That is the new unique rune word for the, you know, the newest, latest patch. Shale Io Thul. That gives you Cannot Be Frozen. Because any physical damaging character needs that Cannot Be Frozen. I obviously opted for this and this instead for my Barb, but for Act 1, 2, and for Act 1 and 2, you probably want it on a Helm. Or just do what I did and use this. What is this called again? I forget. The Spirit Shroud. Okay, use that or Hawk Mail. And then you definitely need that Life Leech. So even on the Act 1 or Act 2, you need a Life Leech, and the most common one is on a Helm. You could craft a Blood Helm, which will give a little bit of Life Leech. And if you go with the Cannot Be Frozen on the armor, then you should use another new rune word, which is called Bulwark, which is also Shale Io, but with a soul at the end to get Life Leech on there. Just find a 3 open socket white Helm and put that on there for both Act 1 and Act 2. But then again, you need that Cannot Be Frozen on your armor slot. You don't need, but it's highly recommended. So yeah, and then for the Act 2 mercenary, obviously you could also go with Insight. If you want to try it out, you could make a Hustle later on in a 3 open socket polearm. you know, and give it to him, but you just have to stand very close to him to get the fanaticism. Yeah, any just big damage, but you know, utility is so huge that I think insight is just the way to go, and it has good damage. Insight is actually pretty darn good. Also, you could give something like this if you found something like this. Ooh, slap it on the Act 2 Mercenary. Look at this. Slows target by 75%. Imagine this put on a Holy Freeze Mercenary and combining those two things, you know? I mean, that's massive. Otherwise, there's plenty of unique pole arms or spears that you can put on the Act 2 Mercenary as well. So yeah, sorry it's been 20 minutes, but I just wanted to get it out there because I feel like we did not talk about it that much ever since, you know, I told you guys that I shifted over to this, and then we kind of just left it at that. But again, I completely understand you guys are not going to be in the same boat as I am. And if you have all these items, you could try doing what I'm doing, because it's satisfying. As of now, it's very satisfying to play with my style. All right, so officially, let's get to it. This is going to be Act 4. Hopefully, we can finish within an hour, because there is a terrorized Andariel coming up, and I want to go farm her in a new stream. So I'm going to end this stream so that it's kind of compiled in a nice format for our journey with the Barb, and then I'm going to start a new stream and do Terrorize Andy for that hour. So hopefully we can finish. We will definitely finish. What am I saying? We will definitely finish Act 4 in the next hour, because what we're going to be doing is we are not going to be doing Players 8, like I mentioned before. We are going to be doing Players 3. And the reason is, I think everything in Act 4 is quite tanky. Maybe besides the souls, they're not tanky. And what else is not tanky? The ones that drain your mana, like the ones that are in the Chaos Sanctuary. What are those called? Like Grand Vizier is one of them. But those little guys, like they're also the floating ghosts. Those guys are not tanky. But everybody else, kind of tanky, you know? So we're just going to kind of zip through and see what happens. And we have this. We are going to be doing all the quests here. So everything is finished here. Act 4, we're going to kill Izzy. We're going to do the Hellforge. Hopefully we get something good. I mean, remember, I do not have any high runes. I just used my first one on a Heart of the Oak. On my Grail, you know, like on my account. And we have only one so we could definitely use a Lem and that would be fantastic. But pretty much any rune besides the Hell rune is great. Even a Hell is fine, I guess. But I would really not want to get like an Io, because Ios fall from the sky. So hopefully that works. And also, what else did I want to say? You should, and if you haven't done already, you should, and I should have mentioned this in like a different stream where we just finished Act 1, but you should do the Countess until you can create 2 Spirit Swords, because that is a huge buff for your Battle Command and Battle Order. Now I have these right here. Obviously I am not using them right now, as you can see, because in Act 4 and Act 3 and Act 2, it technically, through starting in Nightmare, you kind of want the Teleport Staff. Now can you shuffle it around and buff every single time? Yes, you can, but I just don't want to. So I'm not going to even be pre-buffing with +2 to all skills Spirit Swords, but you should get them anyway. These are going to be good for us for anything in the future. So you should find enough runes for that, and find swords that you can get 4 open sockets in, or just find them naturally. That's what I would do. I would just do as many Countess runs as possible and pick up any swords along the way to get, you know, 2 4 open socket swords. So make 2 spirits as well. You should have that in your personal tab here somewhere. Okay? And yeah, besides that, you know, just chuck on anything that's nice. Anything that's nice, chuck it on. You could also farm these like how we farmed the deaths at the Cow King. Try to find yourself angelics. Also, you could do it at the cows and Cow King. Um, you know, also things like goblin toes. You should, you know, I might eventually switch over to goblin toes if I want to, if I need to. You could get this in normal even Mephisto, I think, or maybe no, maybe I'm incorrect, but definitely you could find them at Nightmare Andy. You know, so farm a little Nightmare Andy, farm a little Countess, get your runes, get your bases with the sockets, get your nice crushing blow boots, get some, you know, this was earlier, so this was in part normal where we farmed the Cow King for these, because this is technically or not technically but for sure the best place to get Death's combo with the gloves and belt. So yeah, make sure you have all that stuff, and let's get to it. Alright, so we have a teleport staff, and we're just gonna go. Alright, on your marks, get set, go, everybody. Players 3. Alright. Yeah, see, players 3 is a lot. Alright. We're just gonna hug the wall and see where our next zone is, because all we want to do is go to Izuol, which is in the Plains of Despair. Whoa, ho, ho. Let's go around this way, please. Thank you.
I am overburdened.
Oh, nothing. Not good. Let's see. Could Ip survive by himself? Yeah, he's surviving. No problem. There we go. Jump over those guys. Alright, time to find Izzy. Oh, cold res, which is exactly what he's going to be getting us. Oh, and I just got cursed. I should have not stopped to attack that guy. Technically, I should just do this on players 1. Players 1. To be honest with you, yeah, we don't need to fight, you know, Izuol on players 3. What for? Okay, here's the entrance. Oh, I don't know why. Actually, yeah, let's do that. We'll backtrack to the Plains of Despair once we find the waypoint in the City of the Damned. Oh, and here it is. Here we go. Alright, let's keep walking around trying to find Izuol. Is this the wall? This is a wall. Okay. Okay, this is the end here. Alright. There he is. There we are. Alright, congrats, guys. Let's get our points. Okay, so that's 2 points. Let's see where we are. By the way, these are our stats here. We have almost pretty much maxed with our 6 points in natural res. You can do less or more. Ooh, our chance to hit is going lower and lower, so we are gonna eventually start putting more points into dexterity, or trying to find more attack rating places. Alright, finish this. The synergies don't help us with actual numbers. We're good on this. Oh yeah, frenzy, that's what we were doing. 1 and 2? Yeah, I guess so. Because we have 1 in everything else. Okay, first quest done. Very good. Okay, let's battle order up again. Now, after we battle command, as you can see, we do get max this because our natural res goes up by 1 level. But then it falls off earlier than the battle orders does. Okay. Slash players 3. Let's do that so we could fight. Whoa. Ip? Who's been hitting you, my friend? Oh my goodness. Whoa. These guys hit hard. Okay, so see, we're not able to just survive willy-nilly. Well, we are, I guess, once we start attacking them, but... Ooh. Okay, see? This is players 3. Still good. Still doing good. Okay. Come on, get that Dickerify on there. Ooh, nice. New level. The reason I kind of don't want to fight everybody, but I do want to see how well this goes, is that Chaos Sanctuary might be a little bit, you know, filled. Let's put in some more dexterity. Might be a little filled, if it is, because again, it's random how filled it is with mobs. But that could create a potential, you know, slowdown for us. Whoops. And I am looking for rejuice. Okay. Okay, let's skip some of that. Can we jump, please? Thank you. Jump. Is this? Okay, I was going to say, if this is all a dead end, that is very crazy. But it's not. Does that go anywhere? Or does that stop? No, that stops. Okay. Okay, run, run, run. Okay. Does this go outward more? It does. So I'm guessing that is going to be Hefasto, which is our Hellforge. And this is probably our river. Yep, there's the River of Flame. Beautiful. Unless if this goes down. Does this go down? Okay, let's see. Stranglers, that's what they're called. Ooh, mana drain. Okay. Yeah, the Stranglers will be draining our mana. Hey, Ip. How are you dying to these guys? It's like, if I'm not around, something happens to you there, buddy. Is it maybe because I'm putting the mobs in hit recovery and you aren't? That is a potential. You know, that is potentially true. Which means, oh, here's the Hellforge. Okay, so we were wrong about that. See, he has the Holy Freeze aura, and even though we have cannot be frozen, you can see that once it hits us, like procs on us, we do get slowed. So cannot be frozen does not even work against the Holy Freeze aura. That's why the Act 2 Holy Freeze Mercenary, ooh, is really a clutch choice. Alright, let's get rid of these guys. Just get rid of everybody. Is everybody dead? Yes, they are. Thank you. Okay. Flamberg. What the heck? There we go. What was I gonna do? Grand Charm. Let's identify that. What is this? 5 strength? Nope. No need it. Boom. Alright, are we ready, guys? Are you ready for the Hell Forge? Alright, let's smash. And what is it? What did we just say earlier? Come on now. Hell rune. What a disappointment. That is the lowest rune that could drop in Nightmare. That's funny. Let's go back to town. Let's put it away. Hey, but the gems are nice. That's exactly what gems we do like. We don't like sapphires, you know. Okay, let's repair. Okay, and we will do the Chaos Sanctuary on Players 3, because it does give us experience, and that's what we're going to do. Whoops. Alright, battle order. Now, we will probably skip this beginning part. Yeah, we're just going to leap over. Yeah, leap is kind of awesome, but even if you have a teleport staff, leap attack is just great to have. Alright. Maybe we will try to, you know, go a little around. Let's see how that goes. We're going to get cursed off very quickly. Ooh, massive Lawbringer. Ooh, Lawbringer's going to do its thing. Look at that, boys and girls. There we go, we're cursed off. Now, the curses in Chaos Sanctuary, believe it or not, you know, they, or not believe it or not, because obviously it is true, they affect melee characters, kind of a lot. So any casters, or like, yeah, pretty much any casters are typically good in the Chaos Sanctuary, because the only one that's kind of dangerous is what? Lower resistance, and Decrepify slows you. But like Weaken doesn't affect caster damage. What else doesn't affect? Well, amp damage also hurts, but I don't even know if they amp. I think they weaken. Let's see what they cast on us. Weaken, lower res, Decrepify. Oh yeah, I should be using double swing because of that mana. Hey, Ghost Armor. Heavy Bracers could have been Trangs for faster cast rate. Okay. Let's get our mana back. Actually, let's put on some. We're just gonna get some money. Oh, super healing. That's what I wanted. Yes. Oh yeah. So what was I saying? Yes, so like things like Weaken actually affect our damage directly. You know, so the Barb and like a melee Druid or a melee Paladin or like a melee Assassin or even a Boazon will be affected quite, you know, more than like a Sorceress, right? So keep that in mind. That it's not just free walking in the Chaos Sanctuary when you're a melee build. See, amp damage also because you're in melee range, right? The casters have to, move around and be careful about those too. But again, they don't, get slowed by the Decrepify like when it comes to attack speed, right? Because everybody uses cast rate speed. So again, pretty big difference. So be wary of that, but don't be, turned off by it. Meaning like don't be sad. It's normal. It's fine. But just be aware that the danger level and the effectiveness of the curses are bigger than for a different character. I feel like even especially for the Barb. Now also make sure that this guy doesn't get pushed off like into the lava area here. Because if he does and you can't reach him to kill him, you might have to reset the game. Oh, and that's only because of Lawbringer. So if you don't have Lawbringer, you're not going to have an issue like that. Hey, Grand Charm. Pretty much you have to keep attacking to have life leech. Like, look how slow I attack with Decrepon. Ooh. Not fun. Okay, and also, like I did earlier, don't forget your safety TP just in case. You never know. But as you can see, I am clearing out literally the whole way through because I do not want to get bombarded with like a fanaticism aura from Lord Desace affecting all these other creatures, all these other mobs. So don't just leave random stragglers behind. Would be my recommendation. And if you have to, do it on players 1. That's what I would do too. But see, we almost gained a whole level in the chaos so far. Doing players.
I am overburdened. I can't.
What? Oh, whatever. Wait, do we not hit the seal?
Can't carry anymore.
What the heck? Oh, there we go. Let's hit the seal. Woo! There we go. Use that sanctuary for good. Wow, that Lawbringer is actually, doing its job. Muy bien, muy bien. And another level. So far, double swing is a little lacking already. Let's go a little bit more dex. Why not? 18. All right, 2 more levels and we've maxed out Frenzy. How much does low res do? Ooh, that's like minus 50. So be careful. Lower res in Nightmare Chaos Sanctuary gives minus 50, guys, to your resistances.
I am overburdened.
That's a lot. Dimensional Blade.
I can't.
3 open socket. Hey! Too bad it's not a phase blade. That might help. Let's sell it actually. We'll come back. Congratulations, hero. Yes, I know. And the Forge gave me a hell rune. Gosh darn it. Repair. Whoa! Woo! Congratulations, Jables. You got your first. I don't think I have one yet. Again, I haven't played that much. I do have a Grailer, but in Nightmare, it is the most common starting, I think, in the Flare Jungle of Act 3. It is the most common time or area to get skillers, but plain skillers, that is, without any like additional awesome mods like life or like high life, for that, to be. You might be able to roll like a very low life roll or something like that, but just a plain skiller, it is the best place, starting in the Flare Jungle of Act 3 in Nightmare. So we found it in Chaos, look at that. Oh, and that's another just like plain to get cold damage on a crowd control. But that goes to the Garbaggio, we don't need that, we already have our own. But this definitely goes onto our Pally. It'll make him that much stronger. Awesome. That is great, actually. I cannot believe it. Let's put this charm in here. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, we're selling this. Oh, look at that. See, that's cute. You could put this on a mercenary if you didn't have anything else. But you should have stealth. That is definitely something you should have. Put that in there. Okay, we also are gonna grab that. Oh, whatever. That dimensional blade. We might need it for something. Again, it's better than a crystal sword, but way less requirements than a phase blade, right? So this, I don't know, could go on a mercenary maybe? Or maybe on us. I don't know what we would need it for. See, but I did have a 4 open socket somewhere else, so that's where that came from. And let's go again. Safety TP up. Make sure you are having battle order up. And let's go fight Infector of Souls. Okay, are we ready? Venom Lord. Now, if you are scared, you can taunt them one by one away from Infector of Souls so that they don't group out or group onto you like that quickly. And let's do players 8 just for funsies. We're going to show Diablo that we are in control of the situation, yeah? Battle order. And we will grab this first of all. There we go. And if you stand close enough to him, then his lightning breath will go over your head, meaning you will not take any damage. And as you can see, I'm not taking any damage from his lightning hose. And on top of that, as you can tell, I am on the opposite side of my mercenary, meaning I do not want to be like next to my mercenary, because if Diablo ends up using his firestorm, he can potentially hurt him, you know, and I would have to heal him. But I'm pretty sure Ip would be fine because I have a Barb mercenary. But in general, like in Act 2, Act 1, Act 3, oh, see, like that. Oh, you just saw it. Do you see how it drained half of his life? A little bit more. And he's battle ordered up, by the way. Look at that. He has battle orders, so he has a lot of life right now. And it took him down halfway. So make sure that you're on opposite ends of Diablo, and so that Diablo attacks you, because technically you're the tankier one, I would say, right? And you're just gonna have to keep resurrecting your mercenary. And like an Act 2 mercenary, or an Act 1 or Act 3, they will get lightning hosed down and just die. And just like that, we have finished Act 4. Hey! And to reward me more, the game has given me, Diablo has given me another Hell Rune. Because they're like, oh man, you didn't like our first Hell Rune? Let's give him another one, right? And that's it. Boom. We are done with Act 4. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. Let's.
I knew there was great potential.
You knew there was great potential in me. I know.
Fantastic job. Though my ancestors often struggled against the three evils and their minions. I've
Mm-hmm.
always lived a shut-in, scholarly life.
Yes.
I'm glad that my wisdom aided you.
Now I wish
I
to
wish
leave
to
this
leave
weird
this
place.
Though heaven's gates are a marvel to behold, I hope I won't have to see them again for many, many years.
Yeah, I'll talk to Tyrael about leaving this place
Talk
now.
to Tyrael about leaving this place now.
But please identify my items for me, sir. Okay, let's repair that. That. Let's check what she has. Let's also put that in there. Should we gamble something? A circlet? Let's gamble a circlet. Yeah? Oh, we just missed one. Boom. A rare one on the first go. And another one. 88 mana. Alright. One more. Telekinesis. One more. Tornado. What the heck? And a cornet. I don't want to do that. Okay. Well, like I said, congrats on finishing Act 4. Now, what are we going to be doing about Act 5? Well, let me tell you. So, what I'm going to do, actually, let's do this really quickly right now. So what we're going to do, I am going to just run through. I am on players 8. We are going to run through and get the Frigid Highlands waypoint. Let's battle order up again. Where are you, my friend? There we go. Okay. Now we're just going to be leap attacking through things. We're not going to be fighting anything. We're on players 8. No need for that. We're going to get the Frigid Highlands waypoint. And again, we're not officially starting Act 5 today or now. Not at all. We are just getting our first waypoint. And I'll explain why. But if you haven't guessed already, it is very, very similar, if not identical, to our plan that we had in normal difficulty. And what was that plan? That plan was to level up by killing Eldritch on as high of a player's count as we possibly can, and the stronger we get, we can keep upping that player's count. I personally will be killing him on players 8 right away. I don't mind that he's going to take longer than like a player's 3 kill. It's just about me holding one mouse button down and just killing him over and over again. But before we do that, we are going to kill... Here. Come teleport over here, please. We are going to kill Shank the Overseer. And did you see I teleported in here so that Ip is there with me? So that he's not like walking around. Hey! Fortunately, that static doesn't seem to, activate that often. But the Decrepify does, which I like that. Okay. Tail Rune, Light Belt, you never know what you'll get. Anything else? Sometimes things drop on the outskirts here, and you could miss a rune, a mid rune, a high rune, whatever. So we did that. So we killed Shank, and which technically is cheating because we're not supposed to do Act 5. But we killed Shank to complete our first quest. Because by killing Shank, what that does is that it reduces the cost of everything in every shop of Act 5 to its normal amount. Otherwise, you are paying double than you would in any other act. So potions would be double, everything would be double. So we did that to allow for regular potion buying. And now, since we have the waypoint, right, what we're going to be doing... Let's battle order up again. This is players 8. Let's see how this goes. Oh, this is... These guys are... Do you see I taunted the little... Whoa. Oh my goodness, those archers are literally killing us. Come on. Okay. Woo! That was kind of crazy. Yeah, if you ever get spawns like that, ooh, that's a little rough. So try not to do that. Hopefully we have that. Let's fill up on our full rejuves. Okay. Oh wait. No, we should actually put these away here. Okay. Alright, so let's repair as well, and let's talk really quickly before we conclude the Act 4 stream. Alright, so what is the plan now? What you should be doing and what I'm going to be doing, which I'm going to be doing it off stream because I don't want to just kind of bore you in this format when it comes to doing what you're supposed to do here. And what we're going to do is exactly what we did in normal. We are going to farm Eldritch on as high of a player count as we possibly can. The higher the better. I'm going to be doing it on players 8. Just over and over to get more levels. Now, do you need to do that right now? No, you could complete Act 5 and do it later before going to Hell. But the question is, why? Baal will be easier once you're a higher level. The Baal's minions, everybody in the throne room will be easier for you, for us. So it's beneficial to level up prior to actually, doing this. The only downside you could possibly think and, tell me is, oh, but Jables, you're missing out on terror zones. Yeah, you are right. That is the one downside of just farming Eldritch, meaning you're not going to get terror zones. And if you would want to do terror zones, you definitely can. And in that case, go ahead and go kill Baal. But you should wait for that video, for that stream of Act 5, and we should do it together. But if you're like me, I would farm, and this is what I'm going to do. I am going to farm. I am level 60 right now. I am going to farm Eldritch on players 8 until I am level 70-ish. Okay. If I see that the experience really is dropping off, let's say at level 65 or 66 or whatnot, then I will, stop it. I will stop leveling on Eldritch if that's the case. If it's very little, like how it was at level 44 in normal, like if it was like that little, then I'm not going to do him anymore on players 8 at all. And that's when we will continue our journey doing Act 5. But I suspect he's going to be fine up, inching towards level 70 even. Again, on players 8. He should be fine for experience. But do as you will. Get up to 65, 66, even up to 70. You'll see. Maybe 70 is too high. I have not seen. Actually, well, let's do one little thing here. We're going to save and exit. We're going to join up again. And we're going to do one run, and we'll demonstrate how much experience we get. Let's do it. And hopefully we don't have a bad spawn of like archers and enemies. Because, by the way, you should be careful with those guys as well. The slingers and the archers, ooh, they are nasty. So we are like right at the beginning of our little character, that light part right there. Do you see that? Right there. Okay. So we're going to remember that. We're on players 8, as you can see. And let's just double check. Players 8. Let's bow up. And let's go a little closer. Maybe not too far, because you don't want to attract all the other mobs, potential mobs, if they are there. So, you know, you could kind of lead Eldritch to you, and his minions will follow him because they are linked. So let's see how much experience we get on players 8 at level 60. Immune to cold. Okay, that's money. Alright, so we went from here, right there, that's where my little pointer is, to here in one Eldritch run. This is great. If it starts going from here to like here per run, that might be a little bit too little. Alright, if it gets like halfway through like a bar like that, I would still say that's decent. Not great, but it's still like, you know, half of a little thing right there. That's fine. But we jumped more than a full thing like that. So we went like 1/4 of a level. A little bit less, like 1/5 of a level. So 5 Eldritch runs at level 60 will get you to 61. Then probably 5 or 6 will get you to 62. Again, 6 will get you to 63. 6 will get you to 64. 6, 7 will get you to 65. 7 will get you to 66, and so on and so forth, right? They're gonna slow down, but you know, I would say between 65 to 70, go ahead and do that. And hopefully it's possible, like I said, hopefully it's not too drooling of a grind, because I expect to see you guys in the next stream to do Act 5. To do Act 5, my Act 5 journey in Nightmare, starting at level 70. Okay? That is my plan. Hopefully it works out. And yeah, whoopsies, what the heck did I just throw away? There we go. And so hopefully you guys do the same thing, level up some, because why not? You'll get more skill points. You'll be having an advantage in the attack rating calculation when it comes to hitting monsters, and you'll just be way better off when it comes to finishing Nightmare and then going into Hell. So thanks for watching, everybody. It was great playing through Act 4. It's a very short act, and I can't wait for Act 5. I'm having a blast. Hopefully you guys are too. Subscribe, like the video, comment in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you guys. Go over to Twitch, follow me over there. Everything's free. Let's go, and let's have a great day. And I will see you guys next time to do Act 5 and complete Nightmare. Take it easy. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. And let's just enjoy. Aw, we switched to Act 5. I was going to say let's enjoy the Act 4 scenery, but let's enjoy the Act 5 scenery for a second, and we're going to be getting off. Now, if you guys want to watch some Terrorize Andy, then stick around and watch the next stream, which is going to be happening in like 10-ish minutes, to do Terrorize Andy with my Holy Grail Sork, which you'll be able to see, and how she, you know, does her thing. Alright, have a good one, See you guys next time.